Thank you. It seems like maybe we need a new Slack channel. Engineers of a certain age. Okay, hi everybody. Come on, microphone, don't fail me now. All right. I'm going to describe a couple scenarios to you, and I want you to tell me how they make you feel. Now, I can't see you very well with the lights, so I need to be able to hear you. Just a little check. Can I hear you? Yeah. All right, cool. It's going to work. You're a senior dev in a big company looking to make your mark. There's another team that's struggling with a deliverable. It's important. They're a month overdue. Their manager has tapped other people around you to try and help them out, but still no progress. You think you maybe know what the solution is. You put your hand up and you say, I think I could help. The manager ignores you. 2 weeks go by, they still haven't cracked it. It's starting to get bad. If they don't deliver this feature, it's going to impact earnings, which will affect the market, will tank your stock. The big bosses are clearly upset, not just for making mistakes. Anyway, this is bad. You have no choice. You put your hand up again. I think I know what the answer is. The manager continues to ignore you, but this time, the director overhears and says, no, lowly manager, I've had enough of your excuses. Let's see what the kid has got. What do you need to get this done? This is your chance. You say, if I can have a week to be left alone and unlimited cloud spend, I can get this done. The manager says, go for it. You start hacking. At first you think, I've bitten off more than I can chew. It starts to come together. You think it might work. Your coffee consumption, dangerously high. You start to hack, you start to feel like it might work. You start to hear the machines singing to you. And for the first time, you hear the music of the cloud. You're one with the machines. You sway together. You're working together as one. You're flowing, and yes, this is going to work. Really? Really? We were just flowing together. You're flowing. The machines are singing to you. The music is playing loudly. You post increasingly deranged updates to Slack. But the other teams start to see your masterpiece taking shape. Friday arrives, and you've done it. You deliver the solution to the team, the director watching your every move. The team is in awe. The manager begs your forgiveness. The director says, you did it. You saved the company. How does that make you feel? It feels woo. It feels fucking fantastic. This is why you were alive. This is what you were put on this earth to do. You control the power of the clouds. You have lightning shooting from your fingertips. All 12 of them. Congratulations, you're now a staff engineer. No, this is serious, come on. You've built a bit of a reputation as a miracle worker in the company. And there's another team that's months overdue on a migration from AWS to GCP, having already made their choice on multi-cloud. They came in as an acquisition. They have petabytes of data, sophisticated pipeline machinery, data science stuff, a crew of engineers and data scientists, including a staff engineer, plus a manager. By all accounts, these are reasonable and competent people, but at this point, their director is involved because they can't make any headway. An infrastructure team gets added to the mix to try and help them moving, also with a staff engineer, and you know these guys, and they're great, but still nothing. Deadlines are approaching. Google is happy to give you credits if you move those juicy petabytes over into their buckets, but you've only got 2 weeks left. And moving petabytes costs real money and takes real time. You show up to the first meeting, and nobody can give you a straight answer on what to do or what order things need to happen in order for this thing to work. All kinds of back channeling going on in Slack. Everybody's clearly frustrated. And all eyes are on you. How does that make you feel? We have all these great stabs, and yet nothing is happening. Why can't these guys just do something? What's wrong with these people? Well, this was me. This is a real story. I had my shiny principal title. I couldn't duck out of this one. These teams needed my help. We'd made this acquisition, but I didn't know anything about what these guys did. You know, I didn't know where to start. I knew nothing about their data, their pipelines, or even like the nature of their work. Frustration is super high, and there's lots of eyes on this project, you know, all over the company. So what do these teams need? What's the problem here? Beware the imposter syndrome fairy, even if she sounds vaguely familiar. I'm not the problem in this situation, at least not yet. What do these teams need? Do they need the grand wizard with the lightning and the swaying and the music? Do I need to dive into the code, magically find the solution, the key missing piece of the puzzle, inserting myself in the critical path in the process? These teams are competent. They know this stuff deeply. They need something else. Now, I'm in a new situation. All I know is the data needs to move and the business can't be interrupted. There's no guidebook here. What do I do? Well, what can I do? I know what I know, and I can ignore the fairy. We have everybody we need. The teams are solid. If only somebody could just get them to do stuff. And I mean, I guess they need a leader, but they already have a staff engineer, a manager, and a director. So maybe what they need is a facilitator? Facilitator always sounds too serious to me, like it's some kind of bank robber or hostage negotiation thing. In our situation, there's no dissent, no fighting. I mean, apart from the stress of the deadline, everybody's in a reasonably good mood. They're agreed sort of on the direction, and they know what success looks like. Almost like we're in the same boat. We know our heading, and we know where we need to dock, and that everybody just needs to do their part to get there. What this team needs is a cruise director. Everyone likes the cruise director. They know where the drinks are, they know what's happening and when, and how to avoid romantic couples karaoke night. This is not about me and my wizardry. I needed to trust the expertise of these teams, keep it light and maybe not quite happy, but not hostage negotiation. And I just needed to find what the actual blockers were. Shuffleboard and cocktails could wait. I was hearing lots of questions like, what about this? What about that? If we do this first, we can't do that, but if we do this, blah, 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 blah. What it sounded like to me was analysis paralysis. The manager especially was super nervous about what making a mistake would cost. So not just in terms of like data problems, but actual money. Fair enough. But what did my gut say? My gut said, this problem is too big. It needs to be broken down. It's too big to reason over, and it's too big to plan. We all know this from breaking epics into stories or big code chunks into manageable functions. It's our greatest superpower. It works on hairy organization and project problems too. So I decided to split this problem into two, the data migration and the pipeline migration. As it happens, I have some experience in data, having worked in AWS in their big data space. And, you know, it gives me some small selfish pleasure moving all those petabytes from AWS to Google. So I said, I'll lead the data side, and the pipeline stuff will leave to the staff engineer on their side. That immediately simplifies calendar Tetris, which is not nothing. But there was a major consequence in that we would have to double spend on our storage for at least a little while we did the migration. Now, a petabyte in a bucket costs about $20,000 a month, and we had a whole bunch of these petabytes, so this is real money. And it turns out that this cost stress was a major part of the paralysis. Like, if we do that, then we got to pay for it, blah, blah, blah. So by splitting into two teams and granting permissions to do this double spend, we had a major unlock. And we decoupled the teams, and now we could get to work. But did I have the power to grant that permission to double spend? No, I did not. But it seemed like the only reasonable path forward. So I said to the teams, go ahead, spend double. I'll get us cover from the big bosses. They got to work. I talked to the VP and the directors. I convinced them with my amazing plan. And we got the sign off and it worked. So the infrastructure team was able to test their scripts, be confident in their safety, security, and their performance, While the pipelines team, who had a fantastic plan already ready, but kept getting mired in the details of like buckets and objects and all that stuff, they could go ahead and do their work. And in the end, we did it. We got everything moved by the deadline, got our credits from Google, and had a nice tiki party to celebrate. So, of course, this took a little more than just splitting up the teams and saying, let's go, but that was the key unlock and required very little lightning wizardry from me. So I learned a few things in this process, and I'll recap. Remember that breaking problems down into manageable chunks is the greatest engineering superpower. And it's harder to do than engineers think. We take this for granted because we do it every day. It works in coding and architecture, and it works just as well in organizing teams and projects. Trust your gut. Imposter syndrome be damned. There's a reason you have this role, and you're not going to get found out. The instincts you've built in this career are real, and you should use them, trust them, especially in new situations. You know what you know, use it. And finally, trust the teams around you, the people around you, and recognize what they need. It would have been a tremendous mistake if I'd arrogantly said, you know what, you all suck. What you really need is a wizard like me. Sometimes your company does need a wizard, sometimes it's a cruise director.